Yeah, so we're off the granite now, looking at about 1 billion year old sedimentary and metasedimentary rock. The floor of an ancient ocean. Got a nice Kingia right there. Looks about to bloom. Oh no, it already did bloom. Excuse me. Those are the flower heads, the old flower heads right there. So there you go, coming up amongst the eucalypts, the Hakeatia, Alocacerana humilis, you have a relatively endangered species of Banksia, and endemic to the Sterling Ranges is Banksia montana. There's the flower, it's done, now it's just the fruit. Highly dentate, very narrow and linear foliage. How about that? Hey, look at this guy, Darwinia, named after old Chuck. Myrtle family, but it's notable for having that pretty incredible corolla. And then, of course, real nice calyx too, and those bracts. Almost spruce-like foliage. Darwinia is a rather large genus, lots of speciation in it. It's a real nice one too. Anyway, there you go. Mountain bells is the common name. But let's just call it Darwinia, huh? The Pacrid subfamily, the Heath family, Ericaceae. You know, nice recurved leaves on that foliage. Those little, they just look like bracts. So in Australia, many of the plants in the pea family Fabaceae are pretty wild looking. They look almost nothing like their northern hemisphere counterparts, aside from having the typical Faboideae subfamily flower morphology. It is, you got a banner, wings, and keel. Faboideae, of course, is astragalus, phaseolus, all the beans, all the peas, etc. But the Australian ones are actually in the tribes Mirbelioid and Bastards, or what's known as the Mirbelioids, and they form a monophyletic clade. That is, they all share a common ancestor going back about 45 to 50 million years ago. And almost all of them are endemic to Australia, save for, I think you get a couple species that go up into New Guinea. Regardless, they can be really hard to tell apart. They call them bacon and eggs flowers. Because I guess because they look like bacon and eggs, the same colors. It's not very, well, it's kind of creative, I don't know. Anyway, the point being, this is one of them that's relatively easy to tell apart, and that's namely because it's got these fuzzy calyxes and these beautiful bright red flowers. This is Gastrolobium, formerly Banksia leakianum. And it does sound kind of funny. It sounds like, what happens on a cruise ship when a norovirus sweeps through and, all the fuckers get diarrhea or whatever. But let's not pay attention to that right now. Let's pay attention to how gorgeous this goddamn plant is. So you got those fuzzy calyxes and beautiful bright red flowers. Then, of course, look down here. Let's see if we can find some stipules, which can also be diagnostic. You see these... see those black things coming out of where the leaf petiole meets the main axis? Those are the stipules. And in a lot of Australian peas, they're diagnostic. Most of them are Mirbelioids. If you peel this, all the stamens and whatnot, there's actually parts of you got to kind of peel that keel down. Yeah, I can't do it one-handed, but you get the point. We'll do it later, maybe. You peel that keel down, you see all the stamens in there, and basically you got to look at whether they're fused or not, or whether they're free. And that's a large diagnostic factor too. So yeah, a lot of the peas can be hard. Again, most of them are Mirbelioids. Most of them are endemic, at least to the continent. And there's quite a lot of diversity in the southwest and southeast. And this again is Gastrolobium leakianum. It's another one of those juicy bastards in the myrtle family, Myrtaceae, which I believe got moved now. It used to be in Buffordia. I think they might have moved it now into Melaleuca. There's the seed capsules, the woody fruits, and you can see it's in the process of being parasitized by this casita, which again is related to avocados and bay leaves, and not dodder, which you would assume if you were in the northern hemisphere. Holy shit, it's a dark wormhole we're going down with the peas, at least I was. Trying to key them all out in the van last night, losing my goddamn mind. Anyway, here's another pea. I got the banner, or rather, excuse me, the keel and the wings pulled down. That banner's flipped up. Keel and the wings are pulled down. You can see all the stamens there. Remember, most species in the Faboideae subfamily have diadelphous stamens. That is, the filaments are grouped into groups of two. Normally 9 grouped into one, fused at the base, and then 1 free. You know, a lot of the Mirbelioids just have them all free. So you got to peel, again, you got to peel that keel down and the wings to go look at them. Get your hand lens out, lose your mind a little bit, you know. Have a cup of coffee or 6 of them. And really just fucking, you know, go down a dark void. And when you come out, maybe you'll learn a thing or two about this fucking tribe. Holy shit. Anyway, Eutaxia densifolia, you know. And I'm only, again, 90% sure. I mean, they really, you gotta study these things. You know, is someone studying these? Is there anybody who can offer us any sort of fucking insight? I am losing my mind here, but only because I love them so much. Only because I'm so desperate to get their life story and their history and shit, you know, and their ecology, and the fact that a lot of them have those toxic compounds, you know, that the marsupials, of course, can tolerate. You know, Gastrolobium, the 1080 poison, comprises about 1/4 of the diet of some of the kangaroos. They are completely, they can tolerate it. It probably, you know, maybe it upsets their stomach a little bit, you know. Maybe, you know, not quite if you have some bad sushi, but it probably, you know, a mild equivalent of that, but they can tolerate it. I mean, 1/4 of their diet is a plant that poisons every single mammal that did not evolve on the Australian continent. Pretty wild. Phabids, you know, they're one of the most ecologically successful plant families after asters and after orchids. Actually, orchids aren't that successful. There's a lot of species of orchids, you know, 30,000 species of orchids probably, and thousands of undiscovered and undescribed ones, but they're mostly in the tropics. Phabids and sunflowers are everywhere. Asteraceae and Fabaceae. Anyway, there you go. Eutaxia densifolia. I'll shut the fuck up. Let's keep going. Okay, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and punish you guys with the Fabaceae dungeon right here. Here's another one. Gastrolobium pulchellum, formerly Nemsia. They just, fuck, they really all look, they do look the same, you know? This is, it's quite striking and frustrating and maddening. Anyway, there you go. Gotta look at the stipules, of course. Oh, yeah. See the little filament coming out where the petiole meets the stalk? This one doesn't have much of a pattern on its banner. And that giant ass, you know, half circle back petal, posterior petal right there. Doesn't got much of an indumentum either. Almost looks like Gastrolobium bilobum with those leaves, you know? Split up into two, yeah, it almost looks like a little hamburger, doesn't it? Holy shit. Why am I doing this? Red stems. I just, you know, it's easy to take peas for granted, but they're fucking everywhere again. They're fixing nitrogen in the soil, and they just have a really interesting goddamn ecology. So, you know, this is a lineage that split off from the rest of the lineage, you know, probably 40 million years ago. 40 to 45 million years ago. Anyway, there you go. Let's keep going. I'll quit punishing you guys with the fucking pea dungeon right here. You know, but it's not all bad. Is it all bad? I'm sweating like hell. You know? Got a nice armor of Dago body grease going on. Look at those billion-year-old marine sediments. Ooh. Oh, look, it's our old friend Baronia with that somewhat rancid and very pungent foliage. Again, a member of the citrus family, Rutaceae. Notable for its 4 pink petals and a beautiful corolla. And of course, those oil glands within the tissue that makes them kind of smell like hell. But you know what? It's kind of good. I kind of like it. You know, I kind of want to, you know, get naked and put myself on a platter. Maybe not naked, just, you know, wear a Speedo or something, but don't shave the bikini bush. And just drape this all over myself, you know. Is that weird? Is that kind of weird? That's how much I love the Baronia genus. You know? This is a big one in Australia. Very prominent. Just coming up beneath the Alocacerina over there. You know, so it's not an elevation by Western North America standards, but this is some elevation. Makes up for it in the fact that the rock you're looking at is, you know, some of the oldest rock on the face of the earth. Just like many of the rocks in Australia. Lots of ancient shit here. Oh yeah, and then you got the Gondwanan relics too. I think the top of this range only goes up to about 3,000 feet. Cassarinaceae, Proteaceae, Myrtaceae, and then of course Rutaceae, the citrus family. Holy shit, I smell like somebody found a gangrenous wound and took a dump in it. Anyway, when I was telling you that I wasn't going to punish you guys on any more Fabaceae shots, I was just lying. You can go fuck yourselves. And I said it with the utmost amount of respect and love. Anyway, here's another wonderful Mirbelioid. This is Sphaerolobium. It's a leafless pea. And again, it's in the Mirbelioid clan, which is all entirely Australian. Variations on a theme. Peas that look, aside from, you know, the architecture of the flower, look nothing like our Northern Hemisphere peas. Fabaceae. The wonderful Fabaceae family in the Mirbelioid tribes. Actually, I guess it's more of like an informal clade, because it's technically Mirbelliae and Banksia, but what the shit? Doesn't matter. Let's not nitpick. Anyway, there you go. Get a nice up-close money shot of those flowers. Green calyces. Do they got stipules? Do you see any stipules there? I don't see. Oh, maybe a little bit of stipules. Maybe a little bit. But the color here on all these is incredible. Yesterday I was fucking around in a Banksia woodland. A Banksia alocacerina woodland. Looking for orchids. And there was just, I mean, the most incredible bloom, a Gastrolobium scabrum I ever seen. Just, you know, fields of these pink flowers about 4 feet tall, just fucking incredible. You know, it's like a Picaringia, Northern Hemisphere, California genus of Fabaceae. You know, took a sailboat over to the Australian continent and didn't see any of its relatives for about 50 million years, which is basically what happened. Well, minus the sailboat. Anyway, there you go. Sphaerolobium. Isn't that lovely? Again, no leaves, just looking like a rush. Seen some of these at that cephalotus spot. That was my first introduction to this genus. What a beaut. Do you guys like it when I just, you know, show flower shots and don't talk? You know, you're doing bong rips and go get yourself something to drink. I'll wait, you know, we can wait here. Go get make yourself a cup of coffee, you know, put the electric kettle on. You know, you know, do another bong load, you know, whatever you need to do. I'm just going to be sitting here staring at this fair. Okay, that's enough. You know, when you look at a satellite map of this whole range, you can really see that it is literally just a small island of habitat surrounded entirely by agricultural development and farmland. You know, and this is I hate to go negative here, since we've had such a beautiful time in our Fabaceae dungeon so far, but this is where the rest of the planet's headed. You know, unless we change our value system soon. Just anything that doesn't directly benefit us, we just bulldoze. It's rather short-sighted, it's rather bleak, and it's a rather uncreative, unthinking fucking attitude to have. It's a beautiful hakeo, isn't it? Right there. Anyway, you could see just the sharp edge of this range. Set aside as a national park, thank God, but you know, the fucking rest of the entire area is just bulldozed for development and agriculture. Who knows how many species were wiped out before they could even be named? And who knows how many times this is happening, you know, in South America, Southeast Asia. Holy shit, think about Southeast Asia. The fucking development that's happened there. Anyway, I don't mean to bum you guys out too much. I just thought I'd mention it, you know. Gotta keep it on your plate. Gotta stay alert, you know, for the snakes out there. Figuratively, metaphorically. So anyway, sorry, again, such a sharp definition right there. You know, that's where everything wild and free ends, and you get to just the human development and more of the shit that I find myself constantly trying to get away from. Oh, look at that. That's a nice variation on a myrtle, huh? Myrtaceae. It's relatively nondescript foliage, you know, like most of them. Then get up and check out those flowers. That's pretty nice. This is Kingia. Look at all the fucking stamens. There's so many stamens, and you get a little hook-shaped style and stigma poking out of there. Almost looks like a cone. It's got a cone-shaped inflorescence. And again, these will just keep growing out of that central part of that flower cluster right there. They just keep going. Just forming a little woody, well, a cluster of woody capsules, rather. Oh, yeah. Just framed by, again, billion-year-old marine sediments over there. Yeah, you got some sandstones and slates and shales and what the shit. Hygia ambigua. It's so ambiguous. Hey, you know what? Maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe I'm lying to you. Maybe I'm giving you bad information. Doesn't look like they keep growing. Looks like it is a terminal flower cluster. You know, but a lot of the Myrtaceae do. Take for instance this Melaleuca. See, flowered and then just kept growing. I can't get enough of those rocks. Do you like those rocks? I can't get enough of them. You can see the layers. There you go, Banksia montana again, endemic to this mountain. It's pretty endangered, actually. I think it's suffered quite a bit of dieback from that Phytophthora, that root rot pathogen. It's some Melaleuca, some Hygia ambigua back there with the white flowers. Some Darwinia right there. Another Myrtaceae, that pink flower guy. Variations on the theme. Here we go, another Banksia. So there's a pretty much mature fruit, just waiting for a fire. You can see the florets have stayed on here. Remember, that helps as an incendiary to make sure that these things burn if a fire comes through, thus releasing the seed. You know, I got the, let's see if you can see the little mouths. Nah, not really. Anyway, so each fruit, each cone-like fruit needs to catch fire to make sure that it burns and it gets hot enough to open those individual little ovules and let the individual little locules and let the seeds out. And those, of course, are it's simply a flower that's not mature yet, that's not open yet. Get up close, you can look at it, open it up. Each one of those little hair-like things is actually an individual floret. The tepals are still closed on these, and then when they open, you'll see a little pollen presenter poking out, a little style. And this is probably, oh, it's so fluffy. Looks like a fluffy dahng. It's this is probably pollinated by one of those honey possums or one of those small marsupial mammals. And they've lost so many of them. There's so fucking many of these marsupial mammals, and you know, quite a few have gone extinct already due to feral cats and foxes. It's been a huge. That's probably been the greatest threat to them, is the feral cats and the foxes. And that's why, again, they've been having to use the 1080 compound. It's, you know, that 1080 compound is basically the only reason that some of these, that and the fact that a lot of this land is preserved in national parks, those are the only reasons that many of these small marsupials aren't extinct yet. But a lot are, like I said, a lot of them are. Anyway, there you go. Variations on a theme. What a nice Banksia. Immature, not blooming yet, and that's basically a fruit. Post-anthesis. Again, florets just staying. Oh yeah, see, there's a little mouth. Florets just staying on that cone to make sure that it goes up in a fire. It wants it to burn. It looks like they had a little fire here. All the Melaleucas just re-sprouting from the base. And here's the fruits. You can see they're open. These little capsules are open. You know, you look at some of the ones we were looking at further down the mountain. They're not open yet. Again, just the adaptation of fire. You know, they're obligated to fire, basically, you know. So, returning to the P dungeon, the Fabid dungeon, the Fabaceae dungeon, Mirbelioid Bastards. Here's looks like a Gastrolobium with fuzzy calyxes. Kind of wavy leaf margins. See that? See that nice? Holy shit. That is pretty nice. How about that? Standing on 1 billion-year-old marine sediments.